Nick Robinson here for Polygon, and today I want to do something a little bit different from what we normally do on this channel. I want to just talk at length about a video game that's coming up that I'm looking forward to. For me, I have had one game like really clearly in my sights as the game that I am most excited about this year, and that game is a game called Sonic Mania. So if you don't know what Sonic Mania is, the quickest way to summarize it is that it's basically a brand new 2D Sonic the Hedgehog platformer, very much in the same vein as the Genesis games, only I think this one's gonna be really good. And I know that you need to put the biggest asterisk in the world on that, like I get it. As a longtime Sonic fan, I don't think there's anyone who's more acutely aware of what Sonic means to people, because I grew up, like literally Sonic the Hedgehog for the Genesis was the first game I ever played. I was 1 year old, I sat in front of my cousin's Sega Genesis and just hit the reset button over and over and just watched the title screen. That was my first experience with a video game of any kind. So like, I get it. I had every Sonic game on the Genesis. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is still one of my favorite games of all time. I think I have an acute awareness of why people love Sonic and also why people don't like Sonic. And what I mean by that is I get the disappointment with recent Sonic games. I feel it very personally and strongly. And I think like the thing about Sonic Mania that I've been like, I don't think I've articulated anywhere perfectly, so I'm gonna try right now. The thing about that game that is special isn't immediately obvious, A, to people who aren't hardcore Sonic fans already, and B, people who haven't gotten their hands on it yet. There's a very real, I think very like earned suspicion towards this game. It is definitely not the first time Sega has been like, oh, we're bringing back 2D Sonic. I think Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1 and Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2 are fucking bummers of video games, and I actually don't really love any 2D Sonics outside of the initial 5. Sonic Advance, Sonic Advance 2, Sonic Rush on the DS, like even though that soundtrack is incredible, those games never felt quite right to me. And to me, the thing that makes Sonic Mania special is like really hard to nail down, but it's really obvious when you get your hands on it if you're a longtime Sonic fan, which is that the game just feels right. Now what does that mean? To me, that means effectively that it feels in line with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which was the last Sonic game that felt truly like a Sonic game to me. This game is being developed by a sort of interesting combination, like multicultural team spread across the entire globe. I think there are 3 main development teams, but the lead developer on the game is a guy named Christian Whitehead, known as Taxman on the internet, and there's so much interesting stuff about this guy that you can read into that I'm not going to recount here. But the short version is, he is a guy from the Sonic fan community who created, he basically is responsible for the Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 iOS and Apple TV ports, the Taxman versions of the game, which are widely considered the best versions of those 2 games ever made. And what's interesting about those games is that they are not running on the original code. What Christian did was he made his own game engine that recreates the physics of Sonic and Sonic 2 perfectly, and then rebuilt the entire game within those engines, which seems on its face like a completely ridiculous, crazy endeavor. And it is, but that's why Sonic Mania is good. Sonic Mania is also running on Christian's proprietary engine, and in fact the entire Sonic Mania team is built out of people from the Sonic the Hedgehog fan community. Now I've spoken at length with Sonic Mania's producer, a woman named Lola Shiraishi, about the team that they've assembled and what it's been like working with them. And something that she always comes back to in those conversations is that this game is by and for Sonic Maniacs. And that really rings true for me when playing it, because it completely passes my smell test as a Sonic fan. I think Sonic fans are extremely picky, some of us, and we can tell right away when something isn't right. And Sonic Mania, like, if a single hair was out of place on that game, you would see it. You'd see it in the YouTube comments on the trailers and on the gameplay videos. You'd hear it from people like me, but instead, like, every time I get my hands on Sonic Mania, I am constantly baffled because it feels perfect. It feels like a real-ass Sonic game from the era of Sonic that I fell in love with, and that feeling is incredible. It's literally exactly what I've wanted a new Sonic game to be, and that is a stunning feeling. And the reason that it feels that pure is because it's made by like other crazy Sonic fans like myself, because it's built by Sonic fans like me who are obsessed with Sonic to the point that it's unhealthy, and like, that's amazing. There's something kind of beautiful about that, I think. There's a moment when playing Sonic Mania. I was playing it a few months ago, and it was the first time we got to use Tails and Knuckles, the sprites of whom I think, by the way, are perfect. And I was playing as Tails on Studiopolis, and I kind of used Tails' flying ability to fly up to an area that you couldn't easily access as Sonic. So even though I'd played this zone before, I still wanted to kind of explore it and look around. And there's this like this LED sign in the corner of the level that says "Buy the Mania," and I was sitting in the room with the producer Lola, and I asked her what that meant, and what she told me was that's the sort of the team's internal slogan, that this game is by people who are literally Sonic Maniacs, for people who are also literally Sonic Maniacs. And I think Sonic Mania could not exist if it was made by anyone other than the most absurd, hardcore 2D Sonic the Hedgehog fans on Earth. And that's why I think it's special, and that's why I continue to look forward to it. So that's kind of a very disjointed summary of my thoughts on Sonic Mania, and hopefully that gave you some insight, even if you're not a Sonic fan, as to why it's my most anticipated game of 2017 so far. We've got lots and lots of Sonic Mania stuff. If you're interested, on this YouTube channel, tons of gameplay videos, so I'm sure those are popping up all around my face right now. But yeah, I've been Nick Robinson. This has been me talking into a camera for the first time in a long time, so if you're interested in more videos like this, let me know. I'd be happy to do more of them. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.